Mahjong can be a very unfair game. It's a game where, inevitably, you're going to lose some games, even if you play almost perfectly. There's a quote I heard once in the Mahjong blog that explains this pretty well. There is no immortality drug in this world, but there are ways to live longer. The idea is that, unlike chess, Mahjong can never be fully solved. You have imperfect information, you don't know what tiles your opponents are holding, and there's always a small element of chance involved. Even if you make the best decision available to you, sometimes the game simply doesn't go your way, and you will deal in eventually. What you can do is improve your odds, make better decisions, avoid unnecessary risk, and give yourself the best chance of surviving when things start going against you. So what would happen if, during the semifinals of a major tournament, one player somehow managed to win every single time? Obviously, that's impossible. This is Mahjong. There aren't any superpowers that let you see the future or control the tiles or something. That's something you'd see in an anime like Saki. And yet, somehow, that's exactly what happened. The perfect game. But before we get into the game itself, let's take a look at the tournament. It features 72 players. 40 are current M-League players, while the remaining 32 are selected by Japan's 5 professional Mahjong organizations, including former M-League players and major title holders. Everyone plays under M-League rules, with the tournament divided into multiple stages before the field is eventually reduced to just 16 players for the final stage. The winner takes home a total of 30 million yen in prize money. Ryo Tojo is a professional Mahjong player with the Japan Professional Mahjong League. Her nickname? Miss Perfect. Her playing style has always been described as especially dangerous once she finds momentum. Ryo isn't afraid to make aggressive decisions, even when they carry some risk. She has a tendency to keep applying pressure once she gets an advantage. Rather than simply waiting for a good hand to come along, she's willing to take the initiative and force the other players at the table to react to her. It's the kind of style that can make her extremely difficult to stop once she gets rolling. This time was the same, but it seems she had momentum from the very start. Each one begins with Fumiya Watanabe Pro declaring a Riichi on a 3-cell, waiting on the 1-cell and 4-cell. As you know, being the first player to Riichi gives you a huge advantage. Once someone declares a Riichi before you, the danger at the table immediately increases. Most players would start thinking defensively, carefully choosing their discards to avoid dealing into what could be potentially a very valuable hand. Ryo, on the other hand, is insane. She's the exact type of player that would take this head on. After drawing a Hatsu, she finds the opportunity she needs and declares a chasing Riichi, now waiting on the 6-cell and the 9-cell. Strictly by the number of winning tiles remaining in the wall, Ryo has the better chance of winning. But there's a catch. By declaring Riichi, she has now locked herself into the hand. She can no longer change her discards or back off if the situation turns dangerous. If Ryo draws Fumiya Watanabe Pro's tile, she has no chance but to discard it. This hand lock is one of the biggest drawbacks of Riichi, especially when you're chasing an opponent who already has a head start Riichi. As the turns go by, Nikaido Aki, who has been quietly working on her hand the entire time, reaches Tenpai. Aki could simply stay Damaten and aim for a Menzen Sumo. That would allow her to keep her hand concealed while retaining the ability to fold if the situation became too dangerous, especially with 2 Riichi declarations already on the table. But Aki isn't exactly the kind of player who's afraid of a fight either. Right then and there, she declares Riichi on the 7-cell, taking a Shampon weight on the 4-cell and 6-cell. But what Aki didn't realize was that the climax had already arrived. The Ryo Carnival had begun. Ryo sumos on the 6-cell, the exact same tile Aki is waiting on. And there's an interesting twist to what just happened. If Ryo had chosen to play defensively and fold instead, there's a good chance he would have eventually discarded that 6-cell later in the hand and dealt into Aki's Riichi. Instead, her decision to fight had paid off. The first hand goes to Ryo. Piece 2 is much quieter by comparison. Ryo once again finds Tenpai and declares Riichi on a Chun, but the hand quickly becomes frustrating for her. She is in Furiten Tenpai, leaving her unable to win by rolling, one of Riichi Mahjong's deadliest rules. The result is a draw, though Ryo still earns the Tenpai bonus. After the momentum she had built in the first hand, Ryo had every reason to feel confident. Instead, she could only look down in regret. But a draw isn't a failure. Ryo hadn't lost anything yet. In fact, Ryo's flow was beginning to boil across the table. East 3 is another shorthand. Ryo reaches Tenpai with Sha as her only Yaku. She cuts the form on and chooses to stay in Damaten rather than declare Riichi. Staying Damaten keeps her Tenpai hidden from the other players, but Riichi immediately tells the table that a player is in Tenpai and is waiting on specific tiles, causing everyone else to become much more cautious with their discards. By staying silent, Ryo doesn't give them that warning. That means her opponents are more likely to continue playing normally, giving her a better chance of winning by rolling if they discard a running tile. In that sense, Damaten can almost function like a bluff. Ryo is sitting there, with a winning hand, but to everyone else at the table, there's no indication that she's ready to win. Fumiya Watanabe Pro discards the 5-so, Ryo's winning tile. As Ryo reaches Tenpai, she waits on the 4-so, but there's a problem. There are no 4-so left in the wall. Meanwhile, Fumiya Watanabe Pro has been calling like crazy. There are a couple possible reasons for this. So far, Fumiya Watanabe Pro has been bleeding points, and with his position deteriorating, he needs to open up his hand and maximize whatever value he can through Dora and other bonuses. Calls can also disrupt the natural order of the wall, potentially taking away opportunities for the other players to draw their winning tiles, and preventing them from reaching a sumo. But in trying to disrupt the table, Fumiya Watanabe Pro ends up disrupting himself. He draws a 6-pin, and discards a 4-so, Ryo's winning tile. Ryo draws the tile she needs to reach Tenpai, and immediately declares Riichi on Haku, waiting on the 1-so and 5-so. Just as the table had gone quiet, Aki reaches Tenpai. But there's a problem. It's the 5-so, one of Ryo's winning tiles, and Aki had just drawn it. She has a choice to make. If she refuses to discard the 5-so, she won't be able to reach Tenpai. But if she throws it, there's a very good chance she'll deal directly into Ryo's Riichi. It's the kind of decision that can make or break a hand. But Aki is a confident player. She has faith in her hand. She has faith in the tiles. But faith alone won't make you win. Ryo goes rolling on Aki's 5-so, and just like that, Ryo takes South 1 as well. This parade is reaching the main stage. Fast forwarding to South 3, Ryo reaches Tenpai once again, this time waiting on a single pay, but she doesn't reach it. She goes into Damaten instead. At this point, there's really no need for her to announce the hand. She's already built such a large lead that taking an unnecessary risk would only give other players a chance to fight back. By staying Damaten, she can keep her hand hidden and continue waiting while the others have no reason to become more defensive. Then, as if the gods of Mahjong had decided the outcome themselves, the pay finally appears. Ryo sumos. With another win added to her already enormous lead, the game moves into South 4. By now, Ryo isn't simply playing for first anymore. Everyone else at the table is playing catch up, while she can afford to sit back and let the game come to her. Tokuma managed to get into Tenpai, giving him a chance to at least gain some points before the game ends. But the wall runs out. The hand ends in a draw. Setokuma still gets the Tenpai bonus, but is futile. There's nothing he can do anymore. Ryo, Miss Perfect, had already secured the game. And honestly, that's what makes this game so strange. At the beginning, I talked about how Mahjong is a game where even perfect play doesn't guarantee a win. You can make the right decisions, and still lose because the tiles simply don't go your way. And that brings us back to the quote from the beginning. There is no immortality drug in this world, but there are ways to live longer. That's Mahjong. You can't make yourself immortal, no matter how well you play. Eventually the tiles will turn against you. A bad draw, a dangerous discard, one unlucky hand, and everything you've built can disappear. What you can do is keep yourself alive. And Ryo did exactly that throughout this game. She kept putting herself in good positions. took the chances when they appeared, and somehow the tiles kept coming her way. Every time the table gave her an opportunity, she was ready for it. And eventually, it reached a point where everyone else was simply trying to survive against her. This is why Miss Perfect feels like such an appropriate nickname. For this one game, Rio seems to have found the impossible state that every Mahjong player dreams of. The kind of game where the right tile seems to appear all the time, where every decision seems to work. Of course this doesn't mean Mahjong is soft. Mahjong doesn't allow that. It's a brutal, unfair game. Just like life, you can't live forever. But for one game, Rio Tojo found a way to live longer than everyone else. And if she can do that, then maybe a perfect game really does exist somewhere in Mahjong.